Okay, this is another example of the Nexus 3 gate. In this game, I actually play it defensively because our opponents are, this is PracticeX. He's a streamer. He is probably the best 4v4 player in the world. He's usually at like the very top in terms of 3v3 and 4v4. This game, he's playing with, I think he's playing with like friends or cousins or, anyway, they're not like that good. It's not like he's here with his Grandmaster teammates. He's playing with his friends. And my team is, I'm probably the worst player on my team. I think when this game was played, I was still in Diamond 1. And my allies are definitely both masters, and maybe one of them's even a Grandmaster. So I know, because he's a streamer and I watch his stream a lot, that they like to do Ling Hellion timings. So I fully expect a Ling Hellion timing, and I actually go Nexus 3 gate hoping that I can snipe the Hellions with my stalkers and that my allies can clean up the rest. So I'm hoping that like he gets Hellions and he gets Zerglings, and if I can just snipe Hellions, then we'll be golden. And I will show how this works out. I'll go a little bit fast to the beginning. So this game I do not proxy or rush because, yeah, the Terran thinks we should have walled the low ground, and I think he might be right. I don't usually because you can get cannon rushed and just lose it, but there's no Protoss on the other team, so I think he might be right about walling the low ground. In general, if the other team has a Protoss or they have a random, I would say don't bother. And we also have one Zerg, but they have two Zergs, and it's too much to ask your one Zerg to hold a ramp without a wall against two Zergs. There we go. So my Terran ally is making Hellions. I assume my Zerg ally is making Zerglings, and so I'm thinking, and the pylon's down there as a way to, first of all, it spots the rocks in case they try to break through, but also if I put a gateway there, I can warp down on the low ground and get across the map quickly. So if I do decide to rush, I can still rush okay. That's what I'm thinking.
Glory.
I think PracticeX's Reaper is currently wrecking slow Zerglings. That's what my ally is laughing about. So I seem to have made an Adept this game first rather than a Stalker. I don't know why. Maybe I don't know why. It's a good question. I usually make that as a Stalker.
I'm here in the shadows.
I'm way late. Usually I like to finish this by like 3:35. I should be ahead just because
I'm here in the shadows.
Just because I didn't proxy. So yeah, here comes the Ling Hellion timing. So my role here is supposed to be just chase away Hellions, and I get one, and I think at this point they just peace out.
Your allies are in battle.
And so now we're counterattacking. There's PracticeX is harassing me. I was really confident that he was going to go mech, which maybe I shouldn't have been after seeing the Liberator. But he loves mech in general, and so I decided to go carriers, hoping that he made like like my thinking is that the Zergs would go Muta, seeing me on ground, and then PracticeX would go like siege tanks and Helldats, and I could like surprise them with some air. That was my hope and dream. But what ends up happening is he scans the Zerg and sees Zerg's Spire, which I didn't realize that had happened, and so he actually switches to Bio to deal with the Spire. So, which also meant he was prepared for my Stargate. I may speed this up. So this is just like one way to transition. You don't have to go air every time, but in 3s and 4s in particular, like you kind of can't beat mass carriers as a late game army for Protoss. If you go ground, you eventually peter out in terms of your power. So by around 9 minutes, you usually want to have be on carriers. So what you're going to see happening here is I get outplayed by PracticeX time and time again, but his allies just aren't as good as my allies. So yeah, like that's a problem. Like I wasn't expecting to run into that army. So my allies are a little frustrated with me. They wanted me to dive that, but I don't. Yeah, I'm the worst player on my team, and it's showing that they're a little frustrated by that. But I don't want to lose all my interceptors because then we are in trouble.
Shadows.
Your allies' base is besieged. Mineral. Your warriors have engaged the enemy. Your allies are in battle. Carrier.
I'm here in the shadows.
All right, so Broodlords plus carriers are actually a really good combination because the Marines will attack the Broodlings, which are free units, and my interceptors get a lot more damage in before those get killed. Of course, the lurkers don't do anything to us.
Upgrade complete. Carrier. Your warriors have engaged the enemy. Your allies are in battle. Upgrade. Carrier has arrived. Mineral field.
Would have been really nice to have that siege tank siege, but that's okay. So PracticeX is on 5 bases right now. I'm like still trying to get my 4th up.
I'm here.
Your allies are in battle.
I'm here in the shadows.
Yeah, so now his economy is really hurt. So that's going to seriously impact his ability to remax. Yeah, and that's game.